My boutique was coming up on 8 years in business. 8 years of blood, sweat, tears, and success. 8 years of building a brand that was all mine. I poured everything into it. But at this point, it was just a drag. The joy had gone out of it for me. I knew I needed to sell, but I couldn't find anyone to buy. So I just kept working. Then he came along, sweeping and charming, promising to save my business and take it to new heights. Said he had the connections and the capital to make it the next big thing. We agreed to combine our resources, our finances, even our last names. Within months, we were signing new leases on larger spaces. My brand was everywhere. It was exhilarating. I thought I finally met my match, someone who understood what it took to build an empire. And then the texts started coming in late at night, the drunk phone calls at 2 a.m, the angry rants about nothing. Then the screaming matches, the slammed doors, then the cold shoulder, then the lies, then the suspicions, then the accusations, then the threats. I tried to hold it together as much as possible because I had employees depending on me, customers who looked up to me. I couldn't let them see how broken I was. For the sake of my business, I had to be strong. But behind closed doors, I was falling apart. He made me feel like I was going crazy. At one point, I stopped seeing my friends. I cut off all communication so I could focus on fixing things with him. I even started seeing a therapist to work on myself. But he was never satisfied. Nothing I did was ever good enough. And it was always my fault. It got to the point where I didn't even recognize myself anymore. I was a shell of my former self. All I wanted was to get my old life back, the one before I met him. But he made sure that wasn't possible. He isolated me from everyone. I had no support system. The day he left, I didn't even cry. I felt numb. But what hurt the most was that he didn't even have the decency to tell me this to my face. He left me a note. He called it a note. It read, "I'm leaving you and moving to Miami with my 20-year-old girlfriend. I've already emptied our joint account. Don't bother looking for me. I'm done. Signed, your husband." I stared at the message, my eyes burning with unshed tears. It was like a punch to the gut. He left me and he took all our money. I felt betrayed, used, lied to, but mostly I felt empty. Empty like a tomb. When his car drove away, I finally broke down. I collapsed on the floor, clutching his empty shirt, sobbing uncontrollably. That's when the reality of it all hit me. I was alone. I was completely alone. All those months of trying to fix things, all those nights of crying and praying, all that time wasted. It was all for nothing. He never loved me. He never did. He just used me. He used my business, my money, my everything. As I sat there, wallowing in self-pity, something inside me snapped. A new resolve filled me. I wiped my tears away and stood up. I don't know why, but I had this sudden burst of energy. I walked to the bedroom and started packing his stuff. I didn't care that he'd left me. I didn't care that he'd taken all our money. I didn't care that I was alone. Because in that moment, I realized I was free. Free from the chains that he had put on me. Free from the lies. Free from the deceit. But most of all, I was free from him. As I emptied out his closet, a smile crept onto my face. I was actually smiling. This was the first time in months that I had smiled. I felt lighter, like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders. That's when I knew he had no idea what was coming. He had messed with the wrong woman. He had tried to break me, but instead he had made me stronger. He had pushed me to the edge, but I was not going down without a fight. This is my story. Stay tuned for more updates.